Hello, my name's Danny Brown. I'm the pretend painter. Today I've got Jessica Brodmerkel here with us today. She's just released her first book. She's going to tell us how that process went and also give us some insight on it. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here today.
Of course.
What you didn't see is we just painted one of the coolest paintings.
It's pretty cool.
What'd you describe it as? Or
Like a cornfield in Mars?
yeah, a cornfield on Mars. And we'll show
AKA Oklahoma?
kind of like Oklahoma. But we'll show a picture across the screen for just a reminder that will be auctioned off later, once later down the road. Who do you want that to go to?
So I would love for the proceeds to go to Restore Farms.
Okay.
It's a nonprofit that is serving pretty much the eastern side of Oklahoma City, trying to solve the problem of the food desert on that side of the city and just ending the cycle of poverty over there by providing jobs and food, healthy food. And they have a brick and mortar store that, the folks that live over on that side of the city can shop in, and they do community gardens at the local schools, provide scholarships for kids that do internships there with them, and provide jobs for people who have gone through, traumatic experiences or addiction and things like that. So it's a pretty powerful movement over there, and I would love to support that.
Awesome. That's where the money will go to.
Sweet, thanks.
We'll also have a link so that if someone wants to donate directly, they'll be able to do that directly to them.
Fantastic.
I would buy the painting myself. I mean, it's fantastic. You'll love it.
Look at your shirt. You don't even have sleeves. I think you can't afford to.
You are right.
Yeah.
I do like my shirt.
Yeah.
So,
Your dogs like it too.
you wrote a book.
I did.
What's it called? We'll start with that.
Okay, so it is called Journey of a Volleyball Mom Surviving the First Club Season. And then I also had to throw in You Can Do It. Because it's just like a day in the life journal type book of my experience and my daughter's and my husband's experience of her trying out for school volleyball, not making it, and then learning about club or competitive volleyball, getting involved in that, which is a whole wide world of something that I didn't even know existed. And then her trying out again for her 8th grade team and making it.
Oh, she did make it.
Yes.
Awesome.
So, spoiler alert. And just, like the day in the life of, attending the practices, going to the tournaments, meeting the other volleyball parents, creating some really strong friendships with some of the volleyball moms there and their daughters, and just the whole process of that. And then I've also added in a lot of links. I had joined a volleyball mom Facebook group with 113,000 followers.
I didn't know volleyball was that big.
It's huge. It's actually, girls volleyball is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. right now.
Okay.
And so, you can fact check that, but it's one of them for sure. And so just, going through that, I was looking at what parents and moms were asking on that Facebook, page of like, hey, how do you sneak snacks into the tournaments when they say no outside food allowed? And just, all the way from that to, just like, what is the stay to play hotel thing and all kinds of questions. And I was writing about it as they were asking that in this book. And so I included a lot of YouTube links that helped my daughter, figure out how to get her serve down, she's a setter position, and sometimes the right side hitter. And so just honing in on those skills and a lot of the tutorials that we used for her to improve her skills on that, in addition to what her coaches were teaching her. And so I included a lot of those links that helped us. So it's kind of neat because there's a little section throughout the book, almost in each chapter, and it's a very short book. Like you could read it in probably an hour,
Okay.
a little bit more if you actually watch all of the links that I've added. But there's sections that say note to self, and that was me like keeping my notes.
Yeah.
Note to self: watch this, tutorial from Coco Volley. She seems to say some of the similar things that her coaches were saying to her, and so in those little note to self sections in the book, that's where I've added those links to. And right now it's just an ebook, but I do plan on publishing a paperback version probably sometime in late July. And I'm hoping that paperback version will be able to put like little QR codes in there for those links. And then I've also left a little bit of space for the parent to journal their own thoughts or, things in the paperback version of the book. So
awesome. Yeah. So you say it's an ebook. So is that Amazon and Kindle? And
Yep. So it's self-published through KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and that it is sold on Amazon. And something that I didn't realize that I just discovered, so I've had a lot of people like, oh, Jess, I want to download your book, but I don't have a Kindle. And there's an app, there's a Kindle app for your device. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone or a Android or whatever, there's a free app that you can download. So that way you can download Kindle books onto your device. So don't let that stop you from downloading it. You don't have to have a Kindle. You just have to download the Kindle app for free and then download the book.
So in your journey of becoming a volleyball, not competitive, what word did you use?
Like the club ball or the competitive?
Yeah.
It is, it's competitive club travel,
What's the most unique thing that you weren't expecting about club volleyball?
Ooh, that's a tricky question. I think just the popularity of it. Honestly, that caught me off guard. When my daughter tried out for the 7th grade, I guess junior high teams, they combined 7th and 8th grade. There were 113 girls trying out. And for one school.
I'm not a volleyball player. 6 people on the court?
There's 6 people on the court, and they'll usually take about 10 girls per team.
Okay.
So they did have 4 teams to fill. They have the way our school system does it, and this is different regionally from what I understand, but the way our school did it is we have a conference and a non-conference, JV and varsity.
For both?
Yes.
Okay.
And so there's 4 teams to fill. So they were taking 40 girls out of 113.
That's better than just taking the 10.
It is. Yeah. Yes, indeed. But the popularity of it just threw me for a loop. And then when you get into the club scene, there are, I don't even know how many clubs Oklahoma City has. There's so many clubs in Oklahoma City, and I had no idea. It's a whole other world out there. Yeah.
What's the furthest you've traveled?
We have only traveled, the furthest for us has been like Wichita and Dallas, Arkansas. So we've kept it pretty close on ours. I know the more competitive you get and the higher up you get, you can travel. I know our coach also coaches the 17Us, and I think they were in like Pennsylvania or something like that a while back. So it just depends on the club. But for us, it's been pretty close. Not too bad.
Very good.
Yeah.
Is writing a book, is that something that you've always wanted to do?
So as a kid, I just enjoyed writing. I really didn't read a lot, but I wrote poems, and I wrote little short stories, and I would kind of journal, and then I just set it aside for a really long time. And then kind of in my personal training days, I'm a certified personal trainer. And when I was running a fitness center for a corporation here, I thought, well, it might be kind of fun to write a corporate wellness book. And so I wrote a whole very rough draft out, stuck it on a thumb drive. I think I shared it with a really good friend of mine and tucked it away and never did anything with it. And then I came across this book. This is like, I'm plugging it, but I'm not like sponsored by him or anything. But Chandler Bolt wrote a book called Published, I think is what it was first called. Okay. And now it's revised. I think it's called Launched. But it's a how to self-publish your own book. And so I just read that book, and once we started going through this, journey of volleyball, I met these really great moms, and as a joke, we'd have some little funny things happen in practice or at games, and one of us, I think, said, we should write a book about this. And then it kind of turned into, oh, that's going in the book. Oh, she's saying that. Oh my God, I can't believe she's doing that. Oh, that parent is doing, just different things. That's going in the book. That's going in the book. And so as a joke, at the end of the first season last year, I wrote the book in very rough form and emailed it to them and said, okay, here's the book. And then one of my friends, Tiffany, she said, Jess, you're pretty creative. Maybe you should actually make this real.
Yeah.
And so I pulled that self-publishing book back out and started rereading it, found the revised version, an audio version of it, and listened to it in the car every day and decided, I'm going to do this. Why not?
Yeah.
And this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and just went for it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that, so Jessica and I, we've known each other for 20 plus years.
A long time. A lot.
I think middle school.
Yeah.
So we've obviously gone back a long ways. We've been probably on mission trips together. Yeah. And we've pretty good friends. I never expected you to do this, and I bet you never expected me to do
painting,
podcast,
right?
Any of this stuff. I kind of feel like we're at that point in our lives that we realize that there's something that, if we're going to do it, we need to do it.
I agree.
And whether I used to have hesitations on, I don't want to do this, I don't want to embarrass myself, I don't want to. What are they going to say?
Right.
And for whatever reason, that's kind of dissolved, or that's no longer a concern of mine. Do you feel the same way?
I think this experience has helped me get over that fear, because when you're writing a book and doing any kind of creating, I think you're putting yourself out there. It's almost like you're standing naked in front of people, like, here I am, and what if they say, go put some clothes on, go away? You're just really vulnerable. Yeah. And so just you're expressing your thoughts and your creativity, and what if nobody likes it? And then you finally, you just do it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, it's safe. I'm not going to die. It's okay. And I think it's, our brain its job is to protect us. And when you're doing something new and scary and you're vulnerable, it's protecting you. And, then you realize, oh, okay, this is safe. I'm okay. I can do it.
My expectations or my fears were so off from what the reality was.
Yeah, absolutely. And then part of me is like, man, if you want to make fun of me, you do it. Let's see you do it. I might be a little spicy like that.
Oh, I am too. And I actually said this on my last, or 2 podcasts ago. That's why my name's the Pretend Painter. And it's like, oh, your paintings suck. It's like, you suck at reading. It's like, that's just kind of my attitude towards it. It's like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I feel like I'm probably the happiest and most Danny-like that I've ever been.
I love that. That's awesome.
I always tried to strive for that. I want to do something that's fun, unique, different.
Yeah.
Odd. That's okay. Odd is a good thing.
Yeah.
You kind of look back at even high school and stuff, and you think of all the nerds and I love nerds, but you kind of see them progress, and then they become your boss, and then
right.
It's like, man, they had it right.
They had it right.
Yeah.
There's something to this. Yeah.
So when you were writing the book, how did you manage your time frame to having a schedule, having goals, having not destinations, but to stay on track to get to where you are today?
Yeah. So I think one thing that's important is when you're doing something you're passionate about and it resonates with you, you're in that flow state, and you lose track of time, and it doesn't feel like work. So that's kind of how this was for me. It was easy. Like, it was so easy for me to carve out time because it was something that I enjoyed doing. But I would like wake up early in the morning and just write. Like, because I had that fake book that I had given to my friends, I already had a rough draft. And so that made it a little bit easier for me. And so then I just took that rough draft and I added to it and edited it and made it more like a self-helpy type book than just like an inside joke type book. But I would just carve out some time early in the mornings. I would just make sure that I spent at least like 30 minutes writing each day. And I gave myself a goal. And in the self-publishing book, like he talks about like, just have a finished product. Just get it out there. Perfectionism keeps so many people from doing what they could be doing. And so I kept that in the back of my mind, and I just wrote. I just wrote every day and tried to make it a little bit better than it was, but I didn't let myself get caught up in making it perfect. And you'll see that, like, if you read it, it's not perfect, but it's out there, and hopefully it's helping other people along this same journey that that we were on, that I was discovering for myself. And so, yeah, just carving it out. And I would find times too. I'd be writing in the evening, say like after dinner or something, after Tanner and my daughter would go to bed and Jason would be working on something. And I'd look at the clock and like, oh, holy cow, it's midnight. I've been writing for way more than 30 minutes, but I got lost in it, and I really enjoyed the process of it. So, yeah.
Well, I've had very similar experiences on the painting side where, sometimes I don't even paint. And honestly, today, Megan called me through one of our security cameras. She started talking, and I was like, what's going on? I was literally staring at a painting, just zoned in on it. And nice. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, don't worry about it.
Lost in the painting.
But it's that, like you said, you just feel at home. It feels natural to you. It doesn't feel like you're clocking in. You're doing work. Yeah, you're passionate about it. You want a good goal at the end of this. Did you add anything in your book from your previous experience as a physical trainer? Is there any part of that in your book, or is it more?
No, it's really just kind of focusing on our journey, but I do kind of hint in there, and this from having teenage kids, like sometimes you just can't tell if they're getting it or if they want to be there.
Or if
they're there and they say they want to be there and they say they want to be good and they say they want to participate, but their body language or their attitude or whatever might be saying something else. And that can be frustrating. And I know, like, Jason would just get so frustrated sometimes. Like, she says she wants to do this, but it doesn't look like she wants to do this. And I think the personal trainer in me did come out, in helping my daughter, just the patience and just knowing that there is a process and knowing that it's, accumulative, and you're not going to go from point A to point B overnight, that it takes little bits and pieces to get there. And so just having that patience and just that, being able to connect the dots like that, I think as a personal trainer, that's what you do. You take somebody where they're at, you can see what they're capable of, but they might not be able to see it yet, and getting them from point A to point B. And so I've tried to keep that in mind when working with my daughter. I'd take her out to the sand volleyball courts at the park and just work with an honor serve. Now, am I the best server in the world? No. Yeah. But still getting her touches and still getting her, to get that muscle memory over and over again and work through her frustrations. And there were times where, she would be so mad at me because I'm trying to give her tips and she didn't want to hear it. Yeah. And she would just shut down and just get upset. And then we'd be in a car ride home, like in silence on the way home from it. But just having that patience, I think, and just knowing, okay, she's going to get over this and like, we'll work on it again. Or I think being a personal trainer kind of has helped me through that process a little bit. And it's hard to turn off the mom switch and turn on that switch. Yeah. It doesn't always happen, but trying to keep that in front of mind has been helpful, I think.
Sometimes my firefighter switch gets left on and I say things. I'm like, oh, those are my kids.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, wait a minute. Switch back to dad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I get it.
So just knowing you, and you kind of said something earlier. Do you have a mission statement that you follow?
Yeah. So I wrote a personal mission statement. I mean, it's probably been like 15 years ago, and I revamp it every now and then, you know, because I think in different seasons of your life, it changes a little bit. It's not going to stay the same throughout your whole entire life, depending on your life events and what's going on. And so I pulled it out. I kind of dusted it off the shelf because I kind of forgot about it for a little bit. And writing this book has helped me remember how important that is. And so I revamped it a little bit, and my personal mission statement is, with my gifts of creating things, moving physically, and empowering others, I shape environments for the purpose of facilitating change and guiding others to enter into a lifelong journey of wellness and longevity.
I love it.
So, yeah.
That describes you.
Thanks. And so I think just trying to make decisions, life decisions that match that, I think is the challenge. And just making sure that if it doesn't match that, then, you know, it's fine. It's good for somebody else, but maybe not for me. And so I'm trying to instill this into my daughter. And I actually sat down with her the other day. So I have a whole process that I go through. I actually have this deck of cards called the calling cards that have different life skills on it, and you work through that. And you kind of have this little template of, with my skills of da 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 da, I, you know, XYZ for the purpose of blah 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 blah.
Okay.
And so, but you use these cards to help you sift through what, you know, what skills you have or what your strengths are, and figure that out. And so I sat down with her the other day. I asked her if she wanted to do it, and she said yes. And so we sat down the other day and she wrote it out, and it was very eye-opening. You know, there were some things that she picked that I was like, oh, really? You know, like one of the skills she picked was getting things right. And kind of going back to that, like you see your kid sometimes and they say one thing.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking.
It was like, but I don't, like, she sifted through 52 cards or whatever, and that's one that she picked. And that I was like, okay. So it kind of helps me get an idea of like where she's at mentally. And, you know, maybe she does have a little perfectionism in her that I didn't realize. And just knowing that she does have that, just trying to keep her from not doing things because she wants it to be perfect. You know, letting her know it's okay to fail. It's okay to learn through failure. So kind of knowing what their mission statement, even if they're 14, you know, that's early on. You know, my husband, Jason, he said, that's intense for a 14-year-old. Yeah. I'm like, you know, it kind of is, but I got to thinking like, man, like that would have been awesome to kind of have a mission to guide me, you know, through school or through sports or through college or my first career choice. And so why not start early?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How does she feel about you writing the book?
She, again, is like she's so chill. Yeah. She's laid back. She has not really said much about it. You know, I've shown her bits and pieces of it. I have acknowledgments in there, and I, of course, dedicated it to her. And I showed her, you know, that part of it. And I was like, you know, you can read this. You know? She's like, I know, Mom. But when she saw the acknowledgement, I kind of saw like her eyes lit up a little bit. Like she might not admit that, but and I think it's kind of cool. Like that'll be out there forever, you know, dedicated to her. And
yeah, regardless of the success of the book, it's dedicated
it's
to
out
her.
There.
So
And my number one goal for publishing this was to publish a book. Like that Chandler Bolt guy, he says like 80% of people say that they want to write a book in their lifetime and only 1% actually do it. So I'm like, I'm part of a 1% club. And a good one.
Yeah. Well, after this, I think you can actually do a IMDb. Because you'll be on on an episode. So there's another
Cool.
feather in your hat.
Yay.
No, I haven't created one yet, so maybe after
All right,
this
we should do that. Yeah.
As far as volleyball is concerned, is there anything that you think that is it co-ed or is it just girls?
So
I know the guys can play,
Yeah.
but is it mixed when they play, or is it?
her team is a girls club team. Yeah.
Okay, girls.
So yeah.
Do you think there's anything that volleyball specifically teaches them that other sports don't,
Oh, that other sports don't.
or that it's stronger in?
That is a tough question, because I think all sports probably have similar components, like intangibles. You know, I think a big one that, I mean, this is not answering your question. I think all of them, communication is huge, right? But I know for volleyball in particular, if the team is quiet and they're not talking to each other,
It's a problem.
it's a huge problem. They're going to lose. And I think before my daughter getting involved in this, I didn't realize how much communication was going on that court. And it's loud, you know, and they have keywords that they're telling each other. And they're not only verbally communicating with each other, but they're showing each other numbers of zones on the court as they're getting ready to serve it or pass it over, of where to hit it to. Like,
Yeah.
you'll see behind their back sometimes they'll
Like a
hold
pre-plan.
numbers. And
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a ton of verbal and nonverbal communication going on. I think, too, just the composure piece that you have to have, you can get in your head so easily. And letting teammates know, like, Danny, I got you. I've got your back. Okay. So if you're getting in your head, it's okay. You're all right. We're going to get this. Let's go. You know, just like kind of
The
mindset of it.
goldfish.
And again, I feel like, yes,
Yeah.
I feel like that's with every sport probably, but I don't know. I feel like to me, it feels exaggerated a little bit in volleyball, because you have a split second. Like, if you shank a ball and it goes way over there,
Yeah.
you can't sit there and dwell on it, because the girl's going to serve you another ball here in about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So you've got to get your mind right. Your teammates watching you too. Like, you've got to have a positive attitude. You've got to shake it off, have a mind of a goldfish, and be ready for the next one. So it moves so fast.
Well, I've noticed in both volleyball, girls volleyball, and softball, they're very good at, you messed up, whatever. It's okay. They circle up, kind of
Yeah.
give the quick
Little huddle, little
1
pat.
second
Yep.
pep talk, and
Yeah.
then they go back after it.
That's right.
And lots of times you can't even tell whether they won the point or not,
I know.
because they try and keep that excitement up. And
Yes, that's true.
is that something that the coaches have actually talked to the students about or players about?
Yeah, definitely. They talk to him a lot about just staying positive, cheering each other on. You know, if you're not playing on the court, you still hold a position on that sideline, because you're communicating to your team if the ball's going out, if the ball's deep, if the ball's tipped, if it's being hit. I mean, you're yelling at your team and helping them and cheering them on, even when you're not on that court.
So in the time period where you went from an idea to creating a book, was there anything that influenced you or motivated you to actually write this book?
Yeah, so my current career position, my job position is actually called a communications analyst. And again, like we were talking about earlier, if you would have told me I was going to be a communications analyst when I grew up, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
But here I am. And so I get to write at my job, my day job, and realize that I'm not bad at it. And I had people coming up to me like, oh, I read your story, or I read your article online, and, it really spoke to me. And so that kind of built up some confidence in me to just go ahead and do it. In fact, one day, Tanner and I were sitting down, and I said something about I'm a writer. And this was before the book.
Yeah.
This was before my book. I said, but I was at my job and I was writing, at my job. And I was like, I'm a writer. I'm a writer, And she was like, no, you're not. You're not a writer. I was like, I get paid. I literally get paid to write.
Yeah.
I'm a writer. Because, she thinks of me like, oh, mom's the personal trainer. Like, she thinks of me as all of that. And I don't think she actually realized what I did at my day job, maybe at that time. And I was like, I'm a writer. And so then she was kind of mocking me, for a while. Oh, because you're a writer. And then I wrote this book about her. Yeah. And so, the other day I turned to her and I was like, I'm a writer. I'm a writer. And she was like, yes, you are. So I think just, your life takes you down paths that you don't expect, and for reasons that you don't know about, and for whatever reason, my journey has taken me down this writing path, and that was kind of the push I think that I needed to just do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you plan on writing more books in the future?
Yes, and so kind of the joke now is, well, this was season 1 and currently we're in season 2. So it's a series, right? Like I gotta write a season 2 after this. I haven't been journaling season 2. That's my problem. I have a lot of stuff up here and I have some notes in my notes app on my phone a little bit, but not as much as I had last year. And so I think I could definitely pull it off. And I think this first book transpired like throughout the summer is when I, really started seriously kind of writing it. And so I've got this summer to to write a season 2 maybe. Yeah. And I've got some other ideas just rolling around in my mind that I've written some notes on, but I don't know. We'll see where it takes me. But I definitely want to keep writing. Like I said, when I sat down to write, if it's a topic that you're passionate about, I don't think it feels like work, or for me, it doesn't.
My second guest on the show, Mike Dyson, he's a therapist. He also enjoys writing. Well, he would write stuff that was about psychology, and he would also then write stuff about religion. And this was just how he did it, and he stored it basically in 2 different files in a filing cabinet on his computer. Well, one day he started thinking, he was like, why don't I combine the 2 and write about how psychology and faith, how they go together?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting how just some of the, like you said, it's the thing that's natural to you. It's what you're doing. I started painting out of the blue. Yeah. And now it's what I do.
Yeah.
I think it's good to be open-minded to seeing those new opportunities, having the courage to do it.
Yeah.
Putting yourself out there, like you said. I commend you for that.
You too.
Thank you. It is a challenge to know that somebody is going to read it. Yeah. Someone's going to be critical. Yeah. You have to expect it.
Right. Yeah. Chandler Bolt says, celebrate your good reviews, all your good reviews, but they actually celebrate their first bad review. Yeah. Because they say that's when people that aren't your family and your friends are reading your book. Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, they took the time to tell you about it. Yeah. Because that meant that they read enough that they were involved and they were engaged in it.
Right.
So prior to you coming here, because I just sent you a message, Facebook, I think it was. Yeah. Tell me about your feelings about coming on the podcast.
Oh, well, so I knew that you were doing the podcast because I watched you talking about it and doing it. And my thought process is like, that's Danny. Like, like you're just, I don't know. I've always seen you as just somebody that is willing to just put yourself out there and just try something. And you don't like, okay, so what? Who cares what people think? Like, this is me and this is what I'm going to do. And I really respect that.
Well, thank you.
And just knowing you and your family, this is going to make me choke up a little bit.
My parents are awesome, by the way, and my brother too.
You guys are probably the kindest, sweetest people I have ever met in my entire life. All of you. And just so dear to me. And so seeing you do this and knowing what you've gone through to get to this point, I just think it's so cool. And I have thought it has been so cool. And then when you reached out to me and you're like, would you mind heck yeah, I'll be on your podcast. Are you kidding me? Just for one, just to hang out.
Yeah.
Two, we get to paint together.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, like, I don't normally paint, but like, it's so therapeutic and awesome. And we've just been able to catch up. And three, I mean, I appreciate you like helping me get my book out there too.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. So excitement was just like, I was like, Jason, guess what? Danny asked me to be on his podcast. He was like, cool.
That's funny. That's in my mind. That goes to what I was saying earlier. Is I would assume that I'm a burden whenever I asked.
No.
And so it's good to hear that.
Not at all. Like, I mean, I will carve out like however much time this needs to take. It's just so fun. And I love the format of asking the guest, you know, what nonprofit you would like the painting to be, you know, the proceeds for the painting to be donated to. And when you threw that piece in it, it was even better. I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. This is awesome. And
like I said, we will auction those off. It will be a little while. There's still stuff in the background that we're working on.
Okay.
I'm guessing earliest would probably be 6 months.
Okay.
Latest probably a year, but we will have a line, a link that you can actually donate directly to the cause right now.
Oh, cool.
And hopefully, I haven't actually talked to them yet, but hopefully it'll be something that we can track.
Oh yeah.
That way we know
how much has been raised.
If it's $100, if it's $1,000, whatever it is. It definitely, that's a great cause.
Yeah.
I used to work in that area and know firsthand that, like you said, the food desert, and it's even worse than when I was there.
Yeah.
One of the stores left.
Yep.
And so it's definitely needed, and we take that for granted.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, from my house, it's probably a mile and a half to neighborhood market.
Right.
And which happens to be one of the best neighborhood markets in the U.S., so we absolutely love it here in Yukon. But we take that for granted.
We do.
And over there's some areas that are 5, 6, 10 miles away from a grocery store, and things are just it's gonna be harder. And it's not like they chose to live in the country. That's the city.
Right. Right.
Because if you live in the country, that's on you.
Yeah. When I first heard the term food desert, you know, you think of the desert. You think of, you know, out in the boonies somewhere, and they don't have grocery stores. No, this is metro. Like, this is the city, and they don't have a grocery store to shop in to get healthy food.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you would like to share today?
I'm just so grateful for the time that we've been able to spend together today, and for what you're doing, and helping people get through some tough times, and being there for people, and sharing people's stories. I'm a storyteller. I love stories. I love it. So this is right up my alley. And I appreciate your work that you're doing.
No problem. And thank you very much.
I'm blessed to be here.
Thank you. For those who don't know, basically how I run the podcast is I invite guests to be on the show, and they're allowed to, it gives them an opportunity to tell their story. Sometimes it's rags to riches. Sometimes it's a trauma story. Sometimes it's very funny. I've got one that's coming up that's I think is going to be hilarious. And every situation, there's an opportunity for someone to benefit from it. And that's all I want to do. I know that when I did my podcast, when I was a guest on a podcast, being able to share my story helped people. Yeah. And basically I'm just trying to reproduce that for others.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to paint anyways because I love it. So
right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, only love. Love you guys. Bye.